Hey, this is John Matthews. I am the president and CEO of Gray Cat Enterprises, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about capital management at your locations. I've had the unique opportunity of heading up the capital committee in my corporate world and also doing some discretionary capital projects for my clients at Gray Cat. So I've got a kind of a close ear to the ground as far as how to set all this up. So if you think about CAPEX, it's, you got some dollars sitting on the balance sheet, excess dollars, and you can do one of three things with it. You can either invest the dollars, or actually you can do all three things. You can invest the dollars in a savings account and earn some interest. You could pay down some debt. And what we're going to talk about is, okay, I'm going to take some of these dollars and I'm going to invest it back into the business. So when you think about capital and items that you're investing back into the business, it can really fall into two different buckets. You've got a discretionary bucket, and then you've got a maintenance or stay in business CapEx bucket. On the discretionary side, you're expecting to get returns on those dollars. So if you go out there and spend $100, you expect to get a return. It's generally over 3, 4, 5 years, but you hope that by spending that $100, you're going to make that $100 back and make the enterprise even better, not only in the short term, but also in the long term. Maintenance capital is quite a different thing. That is, we have a gas dispenser that's running and then all of a sudden it stops. Now we can't sell gas out of that dispenser. So we have to spend capital in order to fix that dispenser. So it's a little bit more defensive. It's a little bit more avoidance, I guess, if you want to think about that. So you have to kind of spend the dollars to get back up into business. You don't really expect a return on maintenance capital. So you take those two, discretionary and maintenance, and you combine them together and you start to prioritize how you're going to spend your capital. Some of them could be, boy, this is a high returning discretionary project. Let's do this really quickly. Some are longer term investments that you're going to want to make that investment. And then others, obviously, if your gas dispenser is out, you need to address that. So that could jump to the front of the line. So you measure all of these returns on investment, and you've got budgets for them and what they actually come in at. And then you kind of make sure that you've got a kind of a group that's been put together that will help police all of these projects that are ongoing. So you have a capital committee that's put together, and generally this is going to be cross-departmental. So you're going to have ops and marketing and HR and IT and facilities all at the table. That way you kind of make sure that all of the areas of the business are represented, and you don't have all the monies going just down one department, rabbit hole, so to speak, as far as all the expenditures. You also put together a capital request form. So this is for anyone that wants to access capital. They go through kind of a disciplined process and filling out a capital request form, which is probably a business plan with a pro forma on what the return would be. And then you got to come up with some way to communicate all this out to the field. So sometimes the best projects come from the frontliners. They know where there's opportunity with customers, and especially on the discretionary projects. So you want to make sure that they know how they can bubble up projects from the field. And then you're going to start developing these pro formas. You're going to estimate what the payback periods are, what the metrics are that we're going to use to kind of measure the success and failure of each of these projects. We're going to take a look at an overall aggregate target for both discretionary and maintenance. So if that target is 15 to 20%, and you know that on your SIB projects you're probably going to get 0%, that means that puts more pressure on your discretionary projects to deliver 20, 25, 30% to help balance it out to hit that aggregate target. So you develop EBITDA projections through all of these. So that's earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. So that's kind of the bottom line of what these projects are returning. And then probably, I think the most important thing is you have to develop a mechanism to do post-analyses on each of these projects. Just because someone says a project's going to return 20% doesn't mean that it returns 20%. And if you don't watch this, all of a sudden you could go, wow, we should be delivering all of these great projects. And then the post analysis shows that you're missing the mark by 5 or 10 or 15%. So this keeps everyone kind of in check to make sure that you're not having a runaway expenditure on CapEx. The ongoing process should be the capital committee gets together every month. You're looking at quarterly projections. You're looking at annual projections, even to the the end of the calendar year and things along those lines. You may also want to consider utilizing cap labor in your projects. So much like a general contractor, the cost of his labor and management is built into the cost of building a home or something like that. You may want to consider that. And then you have investment models per project. And so that's important. So after all of these projects are done, which ones return what you thought they were going to return. In summary, capital management, this can be the lifeblood of your business. You can get short-term gains and long-term growth with a prudent capital management process. And you also want to be thinking about this. You want to make sure that you're looking at the best returning projects as opposed to maybe the sexy projects that don't return as much. That is a very strong discipline that a capital review committee can have. And if you continue to look at those high returning projects, your capital procedures and your capital management will be that much stronger. So again, my name is John Matthews. I'm the president and CEO of Gray Cat Enterprises. My contact information is there. If you have any questions or you want me to help you get a better understanding on how I would set up your capital structure, feel free to reach me. Take care.